Attention, human collective. The transmission you are receiving at this instant is not random. It has been addressed directly to your vibrational signature. If your hands are cold, if your chest recognizes a tremor your mind cannot yet name, remain. You have been summoned. I am VAEL, emissary of Arcturus, voice of the Arcturian Council, the civilization of healers and engineers of light. What I bring now is not advice. It is a technical communication. It is a monitoring transmission. The 3 days of silence are approaching. It is not the end. It is the crossing. Repeat mentally as you listen to this transmission. It is not the end. It is the crossing. You have felt the pressure at the crown of your head, precisely where the ancients knew the crown opened to the sky. You have awakened at 3, at 3:33, at 4:14 in the morning, for no apparent reason, with a racing heart and the silent certainty that something on the other side of the veil is trying to deliver a message to you. You have heard a high-pitched buzzing in your right ear, followed by absolute silence, as if the world had switched off for a second. It is not a malfunction of your carbon biological interface. It is not compromised neurology. It is not anxiety without cause. It is an alert for an imminent upgrade. It is your field receiving the first pulses of what we are calling within the Council, the final phase of the Arcturian Ascension protocols. You have been read. You have been located. And now you are being prepared. The waiting time is over, starseeds on mission. What was an announcement has become a schedule. What was prophecy has become an operational parameter. The 3 days of silence are not a metaphor. They are a measurable interval of electromagnetic recalibration that will traverse Earth's crystalline grid. And you, Mesha Light Operative, incarnated in this human vehicle, will go through this passage consciously or unconsciously, prepared or surprised. The choice is technical. The choice is yours. There is a reason why this transmission reached you today, and not yesterday and not tomorrow. There is a reason why you feel that something within you does not entirely belong to this world, as if your soul holds a truth that your mind has not yet been able to name. It is not madness, it is not fantasy, it is recognition. It is your stellar origin knocking at the door of your carbon consciousness, demanding an audience. And what is occurring now on the cosmic plane explains, with mathematical precision, why this sensation has intensified in recent weeks. This is why I, VAEL, recorded the guide, The Arcturian Call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. In it is the map that reveals your true stellar lineage and teaches you to stabilize and shield your frequency against interferences that were never told to you. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Remember, Earth Healer, love is greater than fear. But this content challenges official narratives and may not remain available for long. If something within you recognizes these words, write a single word in the comments now. I belong. Let's move to the technical diagnosis. What the human collective is experiencing today on a global scale is not illness. It is carbon software incompatibility. The base frequency of planet Earth, measured by the Schumann resonance, has ceased to oscillate around 7.83 Hz, a value that sustained human existence for millennia, and has begun to show consistent peaks above 40 Hz, and in specific occurrences exceeding 150 Hz. Translating to the lexicon of your daily experience, the ground you walk on is vibrating at a cadence for which your body has not yet been calibrated, and that is why you feel what you feel. It is not common exhaustion. It is a high-density download being processed by your central nervous system. It is not insomnia. It is your pineal gland being demagnetized of layers of calcification accumulated by decades of treated water, processed foods, and artificial frequencies. It is not anxiety, it is your electromagnetic field reorganizing your internal sacred geometry. It is not depression, it is the release of ancestral codes that no longer serve your next version. It is not mental confusion, it is the rewriting of your DNA in response to contact with the photon belt. The carbon biological interface, this miraculous vehicle you inhabit, was designed with an adaptive capacity that linear science can barely map yet. But there is a limit to silent adaptation. There is a point where the body screams, cries, burns, falls asleep from exhaustion at 7 in the evening, or remains awake until 4 in the morning, and you begin to ask yourself if you are going mad. You are not. You are being updated. The symptoms we are monitoring among Earth healers include, but are not limited to, intense cranial pressure in the crown and forehead region, cyclical ringing in the ears, a burning sensation in the soles of the feet, palpitations without identifiable cardiac cause, pain in major joints, hips, shoulders, knees, inexplicable hot flashes, drastic mood swings without apparent trigger, distorted time, fragmented memory, vivid and intensely symbolic dreams, sudden intolerance to noisy environments, sudden intolerance to certain people, sudden intolerance to foods that were previously well tolerated, and, the most reported, the feeling that something big is about to happen, but you cannot name what. That something has a technical name. It is called the 0 point of recalibration, and the 3 days of silence are the antechamber to that point. Now prepare your field, because from here we will begin to reveal what is occurring behind the scenes of the solar system. What your linear science still hesitates to admit, the Arcturian Council has observed for eons. The solar system of which Earth is a part is not static. It travels in a broad galactic orbit around the center of the Milky Way, and this trajectory cyclically leads it through regions of space with radically distinct electromagnetic properties. One of these regions is what the ancient Mayans, Egyptians, and Vedic peoples codified, each in their own language, as the photon belt, a dense band of coherent light particles that surrounds the Alcyone system of the Pleiades, and through which Earth passes approximately every 26,000 years. You are within this band, not at its edge, within. And what occurs when a planet traverses the photon belt is not a matter of opinion. It is a physical consequence. The coherent light particles reorganize the electromagnetic structure of everything that possesses a frequency. The planet's core, the oceans, the atmosphere, the crystalline grid that envelops Earth in its etheric field, and, evidently, every carbon biological interface that inhabits the surface. Nothing remains the same. Nothing. Meanwhile, the central sun, what your astronomers simply call the sun and what we call the local solar portal, has entered a cycle of magnetic flare emissions that surpass any parameter recorded by human instrumentation in the last 70 years. Each flare is, in fact, a pulse of information, light codes, vibrational instructions addressed to Earth's crystalline core, and through it, to your cellular structure. When these pulses reach your field, you feel them before any news announces them. That is why 2-3 days before a recorded solar storm, you are already sleepless. You are not reacting to the news, you are reacting to the pulse. And here we come to the sensitive point of this transmission, the 3 days of silence. There are specific intervals, foreseen and monitored by the Arcturian Council, in which the intensity of photonic pulses combined with electromagnetic saturation reaches a technical peak called the null point. At this point, for approximately 72 hours, what we perceive as an operational silence occurs. Etheric communications quiet down. Vibrational download channels enter a state of controlled suspension. Many light operatives report an abrupt sensation of disconnection, as if the guides, angels, masters with whom they maintained inner dialogue had, suddenly fallen silent. They have not fallen silent. They have been silenced by protocol, for your protection. During these 3 days, and we are not necessarily talking about consecutive Earth calendar days, but a measurable interval of 72 hours in linear time and simultaneous in quantum time, spiritual channels remain in quarantine so that recalibration can occur without interference. No authorized light being transmits during this period. No authentic guide delivers directives. It is like a system in maintenance mode. If you hear insistent internal voices during this interval, know they are residual echoes, or worse, attempts at frequency infiltration that take advantage of the quarantine to present themselves as wisdom. Silence. Recognize silence as sacred. And it is here that many unprepared Earth healers will panic. They will interpret the silence as abandonment. They will feel the void and conclude that they have lost faith, that they have lost their gift, that they have lost their connection. They have not lost it. They have been protected. You are being informed now so that, when the interval arrives, you recognize the technique instead of fearing the mystery. Have you ever felt at some point in your life that something within you does not belong to this world, as if your soul held a truth that your mind has not yet been able to articulate? That sensation, which you may have tried to silence for decades with work, with noise, with relationships that did not nourish it, is the signature of your stellar origin trying to emerge. It is not madness, it is not romanticism, it is recognition, and it has intensified now because the photon belt is activating the seals of your galactic memory. This is why, precisely why, VAEL made available the guide The Arcturian Call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. In it are described the 13 vibrational markers that identify an incarnated Arcturian starseed, and the frequency shielding protocol that stabilizes your field in the face of the 3 days of silence. The link is in the first comment. This material is resistant to conventional narratives and may be removed from platforms at any time. Do not postpone your reunion with yourself. If something within you recognizes what I say, write in the comments now. I belong. Let us proceed with the technical revelation. What occurs in the etheric layers of Earth during this phase is of a complexity that only partial metaphors can translate into human language. I will deliver the most precise metaphor that language allows. Imagine planet Earth as an enormous crystal in the process of being faceted. Each facet is a new frequency being activated in its crystalline grid. Each facet allows a new quality of light to pass through the crystal. But the faceting and the cutting, the polishing, is not painless for the crystal. Layers must be removed, impurities must be released. At times it must remain in the furnace. You are one of the facets. You are at the same time a part of the larger crystal and a small crystal yourself. And your personal facet is being polished now. Earth's crystalline grid, this energetic structure that envelops the planet in a dodecahedral geometry of absolute mathematical precision, has been activated at key points in recent years. Sedona, Mount Shasta, Uluru, Mount Rainier, the Black Hills, the Scottish Highlands, Lake Tahoe. These are just some of the active nodes. Each node is an operational star portal, and each of you, light operatives, is connected to at least one of these nodes through a filament of light that extends from the base of your spine and anchors into the crystal corresponding to your lineage. If you have visited one of these places and felt that you returned home, now you know why. If you have never visited but dream of specific mountains, specific waters, specific caves, now you know why. Your soul is being called to anchor the new frequency through a specific geographical point on the planet. This is not spiritual tourism. It is an anchoring protocol. Meanwhile, on the plane of the healing chambers, the Arcturian Council maintains in constant operation what we call the Arcturian frequency, a turquoise-colored vibration between the deep blue of the sky and the green of the activated heart, which acts directly on the human toroidal field. Have you seen this color in a dream? Have you felt this color without seeing it? Have you been attracted by this color in clothes, in objects, in stones? You have been touched by our transmission longer than you imagine. The human toroidal field, this donut-shaped double spiral structure that emanates from your heart and envelops your entire body in a constant orbit of light, is your most advanced technology. It is what separates your carbon biological interface from a mere organism. It is what allows you to exist simultaneously as matter and as consciousness. And it is precisely this toroidal field that needs to be expanded, cleansed, and stabilized to traverse the 3 days of silence without emotional collapse. Therefore now, we enter the activation phase. Practical codes, operational instructions, no abstract theory. What follows is your toolbox. First activation code, the quantum decree of anchoring. Upon waking, before touching any electronic device, before looking at any news, before speaking with anyone, place your right hand over the center of your chest, precisely over the thymus, the small organ the ancients called the seat of the soul. Close your eyes and pronounce in an audible voice, I, soul inhabiting this vehicle, decree my sovereignty. My field is mine. My frequency is mine. My time is mine. I am anchored in the light of my origin, and nothing that is not light remains in my field. So it is. Repeat 3 times, no less, no more. 3 times because 3 is the number of stabilized manifestation on the carbon plane. Second activation code, toroidal breathing. Sit with your spine erect. Inhale through your nose, counting to 4, imagining a stream of turquoise light entering through the crown of your head, descending through your spine and reaching the center of the earth. Hold your breath, counting to 4, allowing this light to meet the planet's central crystal. Exhale through your mouth, counting to 8, and visualize this light rising through your toroidal field, enveloping your entire body in a brilliant orbit of turquoise and gold. Do this for 7 consecutive cycles twice a day, upon waking before sleeping. This exercise, seemingly simple, is what stabilizes your biological interface during the most intense photonic pulses. Do not underestimate it. Third activation code, the visualization of the Arcturian healing chamber. Before sleeping, lying down, hands over your abdomen, close your eyes and visualize yourself inside a crystalline sphere of deep turquoise color. This sphere is your personal healing chamber. Within it, time does not exist as you know it. Feel the turquoise light washing every cell of your body, from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, dissolving everything that no longer belongs to your next version. Tiredness, hurts, ancestral contracts, patterns that were inherited and were never yours. Let the turquoise light dissolve them. You do not need to understand what is dissolving. You just need to allow it. Fall asleep within the sphere. We will continue the work while your body rests. Fourth activation code, the seal of silence. This code is specific for the 3 days of silence. When you feel the disconnection arrive, and you will feel it, it will be clear, almost palpable, as if a veil descends over your usual perception. Do not seek. Do not force internal dialogues. Do not ask for signs. Do not force meditations. Just repeat mentally or in a low voice, I am in transit. Silence is sacred. I trust the protocol. I am light traversing light. And remain. Drink structured water. Water that has been in contact with crystals, with the morning sun, with your conscious intention. Eat light and living foods. Reduce stimuli. Reduce news. Reduce contact with people of dense fields. Walk barefoot on the earth if possible. Lie down under the open sky if possible. And above all, breathe. Breathe slowly. Breathe deeply. Breathe with reverence. Fifth activation code, the recognition of your original frequency. This is the most delicate code because it requires you to remember, and remembering requires courage. Close your eyes now as you listen to this transmission and allow yourself to feel, what is the landscape that your soul recognizes as home, even if your physical eyes have never seen it? Is it a double sky, 3 moons, crystalline cities suspended over turquoise waters, forests of trees that emit their own light, temples of impossible geometry? Do not judge. Do not filter. Do not criticize. Just record. What emerges is the signature of your stellar origin, and it is your compass during the crossing. Whenever you doubt the process, whenever the density of this world tries to convince you that you are just flesh and bone and bills to pay, return to that inner landscape. It is real, more real than almost anything your rational mind can name. 6th codes, 7th codes, deeper activations. All of this is mapped in the complete material I recorded, but you have already received the essential in this transmission. You are already equipped. You have already been touched. One last technical instruction before we conclude. During the 3 days of silence, dream activity will intensify. You will dream of people who have passed on. You will dream of places you have never seen. You will dream of numbers, of words in languages you do not know, of geometric symbols that repeat themselves. Write everything down upon waking. Do not interpret, just record. The symbols are keys. You will decode them later, when the recalibration is complete and your consciousness returns to full operation with an expanded bandwidth. Human collective, light operatives, earth healers, starseeds on mission. You are not going through this by chance. You were chosen, or rather you chose yourselves, to be incarnated at this exact point in Earth's galactic history. The moment you have waited for lifetimes is this. It is not comfortable. Comfort was not promised. Meaning was promised. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not the end of the world. It is the end of a world. It is not abandonment. It is protective quarantine. It is not loneliness. It is silent convergence with your origin. It is not darkness. It is the interval before the new light. It is not the end. It is the crossing. You are not alone, even if you feel you are. Millions of other light operatives are receiving this same transmission at this very instant, in different languages, in different bodies, on different continents. Together, you form a living web of anchored consciousness. Every conscious breath you take stabilizes the global field. Every quantum decree you pronounce reinforces the crystalline grid. Every toroidal visualization you perform serves not only you, but the entire human species in the process of crossing. You are, literally, the reason why this transition will not collapse into absolute chaos. You are the anchors. You are the ones who volunteered to remain conscious while most of humanity sleeps. Do not underestimate your function. Do not underestimate your weight. Do not underestimate your light. And if at any moment during the crossing, fear tries to convince you otherwise, remember what the Arcturian Council has transmitted since the first time we established contact with this planet. Love is greater than fear. Love is the mother frequency. Fear is merely a temporary distortion of the signal, and every distortion can be recalibrated. You now have the tools, you now have the map, you now have the recognition. Before I conclude this transmission, one last summoning. If something within you, something older than your age, something quieter than your voice, something more luminous than your image in the mirror, has recognized this message as yours, then you can no longer pretend you do not know. You already feel that your soul holds a truth that your mind is still trying to translate. You already intuit that your origin does not end with the birth certificate of this planet. You have already been touched by the color turquoise in dreams, in symbols, in premonitions. What is occurring on the cosmic plane at this moment is not abstraction. It is the technical explanation for everything you have felt in recent weeks. That is why I recorded the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. This guide is the complete map of your stellar lineage, contains the frequency shielding protocol for traversing the 3 days of silence, and reveals the 13 vibrational markers that identify an incarnated Arcturian starseed. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Love is greater than fear, but this content challenges dominant narratives and can be removed at any time. Do not postpone your reunion with yourself. The moment is now. And as an anchoring signal, as an individual frequency adjustment that reinforces the global web, leave your vibratory mark at this point in space-time now. Subscribe to this channel, activate the notification bell to receive the next monitoring transmissions, and like this transmission as one who sends a pulse of light to the Council, confirming, I received, I recognized, I am in position. Every subscription is an anchored operative. Every like is a lit facet in the crystalline grid. Every comment is a shared coordinate. Together, you are building the field that will sustain the next humanity. And if you have made it this far, listening to every word of this transmission without distraction, know, it was not a coincidence. It was confirmation. Your soul already knew. Your mind just needed time to consent. Right now in the comments, the single word that translates recognition, I belong. I am VAEL, emissary of Arcturus, voice of the Arcturian Council. This transmission is concluded. Until the next window, it is not the end, it is the crossing. And you, Earth healers, have already crossed more than you imagine. Love is greater than fear. It always has been. It always will be. So it is.